Alabama, St. John's, Rick Pitino, Nate Oats, noon Eastern at the Garden on FS1. This should be a fun one. Let's get right into it. Real quick, on the injury front, Dylan Darling might not play for St. John's, the point guard. Hurt his calf. Questionable. Think he might go. On the Bama side, Jaleel Bethea, he's out for longer. Keaton Bristow, he's out for longer. Aden Holloway and Latrell Wrightsell, they're back. They're good to go. So, real quick, some history on Pitino and Oats. As we know, Alabama loves to take a ton of threes. They've been top 8 in the NCAA in three-point attempts per game since Oats took the job 6 years ago, which is around 30 attempts per game. So, Pitino and Oats faced off twice when Pitino was at Iona. They faced off in the NCAA tournament in a 2-15 game in the bubble year. Bama won 68-55, and then 7 months later, that next season, Iona won 72-68, brought Walter Clayton off the bench, who had 15, by the way. But the key note is that Bama went 5 of 16 and 5 of 17 from three-point range in those two matchups. Way lower than those 30 attempts they like to take. So what was it that Pitino did to get those numbers down? Well, one, they kept Bama out of transition. It was a slower-paced game, and those half-court possessions were a grind. Iona was able to switch a lot on the perimeter and, not help off strong side corners to just try to limit those three-point attempts, force attempts at the rim, and clash the defensive glass hard. And it was working. And they did keep Bama out of transition. And 68 points in those two games is a really low number for a team that wants to play in the 80s. The total for this game is at 171.5, implying that we're going to be in the 80s here. So really interesting. Will Pitino take what worked for him in the past at Iona? And can he do that while keeping this at a high-paced game? It's much easier to create open looks from three in transition, so Bama's going to want to run it and find those looks, and that's what they're great at. But, of course, Pitino knows how to coach his guys to get back on transition defense and to talk and communicate and be disruptive. Definitely an interesting thing to watch in this game is what does that three-point volume look like for Alabama. Running through these team season openers, Bama beat North Dakota at home 91-62. Labaron Philon played like the star that he is. This is a potential lottery pick, 22 points and 8 assists for Philon. Amari Allen, the freshman wing, looked really good. 12 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. Houston Millette, coming off that redshirt year, looks really good. He had 15 points and 8 boards. But it's hard to take a lot from that game. You're playing North Dakota, and obviously you're missing guys. Like I said, you're getting Wrightsell and Holloway back, which definitely gives Bama more ball handlers, less on Philon's plate, and more shooting, of course, too. I'm not worried about those guys being rusty or anything or not ready for this game. They'll be good to go. St. John's also looked really good. 108-74 over Quinnipiac, who was picked to win their league. That's a pretty good mid-major team. Dylan Mitchell is a perfect Pitino four-man. He was a beast in his first game here. 18 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 4 steals, and a block. Zuby picked up right where he left off last year with 17, 6 boards, 3 assists. I thought his passing really stood out to me. Just being a connective piece whether it was on a short roll or in transition. I really like the way Zuby was seeing the floor. Bryce Hopkins back in action, had 8 points and 5 assists. 5 assists from Mosiah Sellers, 2, and 6 from Dylan Darling off the bench. 25 as a team for the Johnnies. I thought Josen Sannon looked really good, the Arizona State transfer. He's a pro to me as well. He had 14 points. So quick, getting to the basket, and a lights-out three-point shooter. Ian Jackson was perfect from the field. In only 15 minutes of play, he scored 15 points. Didn't miss a shot. And then Sadiko Abin Ayo, in his third year at St. John's. Pitino loves this guy. He came over from Iona with him. He's going to be a good hustle, energy, glue guy for this team. He's going to play in this game. He had 10 points, knocked down his only 3. I love the energy that he plays with. So the key matchup thing that stands out to me here is just the front court advantage that St. John's has. I like Aiden Sherrill, stepping into a bigger role here for Bama. He had 4 blocks in the opener, 9 points, 4 boards. He's a beast. And I like Taylor Bowen coming from FSU, can stretch the floor a bit. Bama's front court rounded out by freshman London Jameson and Noah Williamson, the 7-footer coming over from Bucknell. I believe in Bama long-term this year. I have so much trust in Nate Oats, but to go on the road in the second game of the season up against this front court of Zuby Ejifor and Dylan Mitchell, who are, seniors, athletic, physical beasts, you're just asking for a lot out of that young, less experienced front court for Alabama. How will Alabama be able to compete on the glass here and be disruptive around the rim? I think that's a big question. Also, the three-point volume that I mentioned with Pitino kind of figuring out a way to get that three-point volume down for Alabama in the past. Is Pitino able to capture that magic again of running Alabama off the three-point line and keeping their score down? We'll see. This team looked great defensively, even outside of, a Dylan Mitchell or Bryce Hopkins. But these new guards haven't really been tested yet, like an Ian Jackson, Mosiah Sellers, Dylan Darling, Sannon. This is their first high-level test, as a Johnny. We'll see if they're able to guard guys like Philon, Holloway, and Wrightsell, who are so good off the bounce and can really stretch you out with the shooting ability. Line right now is around 5.5, 6. Definitely lean towards St. John's, just being at home, being an older team. a more physical team with an advantage in the front court, a healthier team. If this game does end up being lower scoring, if Pitino kind of goes back to that because he thinks it's the best way to beat Alabama, I would definitely lean with St. John's being able to grind this one down in the half court better. But if it is a track meet like the 171.5 total implies, St. John's has the cats to do it. Like, he didn't have this type of shooting of an Ian Jackson, a Sandin, a Darling, a Sellers that he didn't have that last year. I'm a believer in Alabama's long-term prospects, but this is just a tough task to go on the road to MSG, young roster, and going against this Pitino defense and beast of a front court of Mitchell and Zuby. So definitely leaning towards the Johnnies. If you like this type of content, you like this type of analysis, help your boy out. Toss me a like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell on. Why not? I'm trying to build this thing. I need your guys' help. Thank you.